Insight. Stories of spiritual conflict in the 20th century. Insight.
Life on occasion can be quite painful. That's just the way it is. None of us like it. And yet on occasion, after it's all over, we're forced to admit that our life is richer and deeper and fuller because we have suffered. This is a hard truth for us to assimilate. We don't like pain. And so all too often we do everything in our power to escape it. Some people do this by assuming a role. They create another self, the person they would like to be but aren't. He's strong, he's self-assured, he's equal to any challenge. There's just one difficulty. He's not real. He's inauthentic, dishonest, phony. A false self may help us deal with certain aspects of reality, but in the process, it drains away our vital energies. It leaves us empty inside. But still the problem remains. How do we fill that emptiness? Is there some source of strength that we can tap? Where do we get the inner energy to meet the external pressure?
Oh, why? Why? Why did we do it?
We didn't do it, Ben. You did it.
I couldn't have done it by myself.
For once you were alone.
Why?
Mother?
Somebody has to tell us.
Answer them.
No, you talk to him.
I don't mean anything to them. They wouldn't even know me.
I can't talk to her. Do it.
Why did he do it, Stan? Why?
What can I say, Grace?
Maybe I can help you.
Must be one of Ben's friends. You get some rest. I'll go talk to him.
No, he'll have so many visitors. He was such a popular boy.
Grace, please.
Come in.
You'll have to come to me.
What?
I can't move too far from Ben. Don't I mean anything to you?
No.
Look again. Please, Mother.
Ben? Ben? He's here. I've got to find him. He's here. He's in there.
Grace, stop.
Ben? Ben? Why'd you do it?
Grace, you don't know what you're getting into.
I don't care. He's here.
I am, Mother. Look at me.
No. No.
It's there. It'll always be there. Somewhere. It's his legacy to you.
Thought you were a friend of Ben's.
I am. Sometimes. Sometimes his enemy. But you're looking for an answer. So am I. So's Ben.
Ben is?
That's why we're here.
A courtroom.
What Ben did wasn't a crime. Oh, isn't there something we can do? Can't we say it's an accident?
We taught him to be honest. We've got to be honest ourselves, Grace.
You're a lawyer. What do we do now?
This is our problem. His mother's and mine. Where do you fit in?
Ben couldn't exist without me. He loved me, he hated me, but he needed me more and more. When he couldn't face the world, he'd send me out to do it.
Ben didn't need anybody to face the world for him.
The only time I wasn't with him was up there on that windowsill. Something happened this morning. I don't know. He deserted me. He was alone for the first time in a long, long while. Now, what are we going to do to find out why?
Yes. Why? Oh, I'd knock, but I can't seem to find a door.
I knew it. I knew you wouldn't have the decency to stay away.
I think it's more decent for me to be here. Besides, I have a feeling I was about to be discussed.
I won't stay.
No, Mother. Emma belongs here.
Do you?
Yes. I want to find out why he deserted me this morning.
Emma, who is this?
It's Ben. Of course, you wouldn't know that. You see, this is Ben's Ben. It's his image of himself. I got to know him pretty well. After all, he's the one I saw most of the time. Except when I was lucky. Are you going to give us the answer? If you are, I won't waste my time staying here. It'll just be a lie.
Ben? Ben, come on. You asked for this.
Ben? Ben?
20 years he's been your son. Haven't you learned that one thing? Don't go after him. Let him come to you.
Don't you try to tell me how to treat him. Treat my son. Not after what you did to him.
Accusation time. I suppose I sent him out that window. Make you happy if I said yes. Would you be able to accept that? Not look any further?
We didn't mean that, Emma.
No. No, you wouldn't. Your strong point's always been in trying to understand, Ben. Or was it?
Maybe my wife was right. You don't belong here.
Ask Ben. Do I?
Ben.
I warned you. Let him come to you. Now, Ben, there's one thing you're not going to do. You're not going to sit up there judging us. If just once you're really looking for an answer. I think this is where you belong.
But he's not a witness.
But he's the only witness. How about it, Ben? Are you coming down where you belong? Well, now, who begins?
We're not putting Ben on trial.
That's exactly what we started to do the minute we heard about it. Now, let's make it official. We have a prosecution table, defense table. Now somebody opens. It's usually the prosecutor. Aren't we going to have a prosecutor? Are we all going to be very civilized and defend him?
Of course we're going to defend him. He's our son. Let's go, Grace.
That leaves you and me. I don't know where I stand. It's all yours.
All right, Ben. Sit down. I guess we should start with the facts. Your name, stuff like that.
Just a minute.
What?
Facts. That's where I can help.
It's Mr. Phillips,
Who?
my counselor.
No. No, his name isn't Phillips. It's Corey. It's Dr. Corey, that's right. He gave Ben his aptitude test when he was in the 7th grade.
No, it's Mr. Phillips. I saw him
No,
this
you're
morning.
both wrong.
It doesn't matter. This is what's important. Just go on with what you were doing. I'll find somewhere to sit.
Well, I guess we've established that you're Ben Ferris. How old are you?
I'll be 20 next month.
Occupation?
Student.
Be more exact than that. What kind of student?
Sophomore, state, alpha, alpha, alpha.
Physical health? Eyes, teeth, heart. Good. Mental health.
What is this?
Answer the question, please.
There's nothing wrong with Ben.
That's exactly what we're here to determine.
I have the answers right here. These are tests when Ben was 5, 7, and 9, and so on, including college entrance questionnaires, induction interviews, and so forth. And the answer is normal. Perfectly normal.
Thank you.
I told you.
Ben, what kind of a day was it when you decided to go out that window?
I object.
Overruled. What kind of a day was it?
It was a day.
Was it a cloudy day? Was it rainy, sunny, cold?
I don't know. It was a day like any other day.
A normal day?
Yes.
A normal day, just like any other, when a normal boy decides to commit suicide.
I don't like to interrupt, but it was not a normal day. The records showed that Ben had several unnormal encounters on that morning.
Is this true, Ben?
Ask him.
Oh, the first was Miss Emma McGill.
I knew it.
What did you know, Mrs. Ferris?
There's been nothing but trouble ever since the day you
Leave her out of this.
Don't protect her, Ben.
No. Let them ask their questions.
Emma, this wasn't your fault.
They'll have to find that out for themselves.
Emma, did I ever love you?
Ben, you know the answer to that. Never.
Yes, he did. Why, we saw it happening. He hasn't been able to concentrate on anything since the day you walked into his life. He hasn't his work, his
Mother,
school.
Would you like to take over now?
Yes, I would.
Emma?
Do you deny you were having an affair with our son?
We were talking about love.
You can't talk about one without talking about the other.
Mrs. Ferris, your son and I shared an experience. We may have learned something from it, but love, no.
He wanted to marry you.
Yes. Isn't that tragic? He did want to marry me. Oh, Ben. Ben, tell them the truth. What did I say when I left you this morning?
That, the term was over and you were going home for the summer.
The truth, Ben.
That we wouldn't be seeing each other again next fall.
All the truth. Why?
We just weren't making it. There wasn't even any pleasure.
Thank you. You see, your son was so bound and strapped in by what you taught him that he could never let anyone close enough to really know him. Whenever I tried, and I did, he just simply froze up. All that fear and guilt, Mrs. Ferris, just isn't the way I want to begin a marriage.
And you told him this?
Didn't have to. He knew his performance record.
Then it's no wonder. It's no wonder that he...
Mrs. Ferris, he didn't kill himself because of me. That takes a specific reason. I was a generality.
That's just an excuse so that
Mother,
you don't have...
Emma was setting me free this morning. What we had was so empty, so useless. I mean, I don't know what was the matter with me, why I couldn't be like anybody else. Why couldn't I be just free enough to say, Emma, I need somebody, I need you.
Are you saying we were wrong to give you the kind of moral background so you'd feel guilt?
Why didn't you teach me to deal with guilt?
Mom and Dad were right.
Stay out of this, I'll speak for you.
They were right. We didn't mean anything to each other. Because we didn't... I don't know, something was missing.
Are you finished now? Can I take over again?
No, I didn't need you this morning, and I don't need you now. I've got to do this alone.
You can't.
I've got to try. Mom, I want to ask you a question.
If there are any questions, I'll answer them.
Oh, Stan.
Go sit down, Grace, please.
Before you begin, I think it's only fair to remind you that there were other unusual incidents on that normal day. Let's check the chronology. You made a long-distance phone call. Area code 714-117-6848.
That's our number. You called home?
When, Ben? You didn't talk to us.
I called home. There was a pay station in the tower.
The phone did ring, but there was nobody there.
That's right, nobody. I hung up when you answered the phone.
Why, Ben? Why'd you hang up? Why didn't you talk to us? Maybe we could have helped you. Maybe we could have...
There was nothing I could say anymore. While I was dialing, while the phone was ringing, I went through the whole conversation in my head. And I knew what I would say, and I knew what your answer would be. What was the point?
Yep, there it is. The call was made 5 minutes of 12, a half hour after you seen your counselor.
Counselor? Why'd you go see your counselor? It was toward the end of the term.
My God, Dad, is that all we ever do with each other is pretend? You shouldn't be surprised by this. You knew I was flunking out.
You couldn't have been. You said you were doing better the first of the semester. You said it.
I lied.
Oh, Ben, why? Why didn't you come to us and discuss it with us?
But we spent all that money having you tutored last summer.
Oh, well, I'm sorry I wasted your money.
I didn't mean that. We gladly did it. We'd have spent 100 times that amount just to get you through school.
Dad, I never would have made it. I was flunking out.
Well, if you were flunking, it meant you weren't applying yourself. You weren't knuckling down. We both know why, don't we, Ben? If something wasn't given to you and you couldn't meet the big challenge, you'd do what you've always done. What your generation seems to think is the big solution. You quit.
My God, Dad, do you really believe that? Don't you think I was breaking my back trying to get through? Tell him.
How do I know whether you did or you didn't?
Oh, but you were my counselor. I came to see you this morning.
With an enrollment as large as ours, it isn't always easy to remember. You are one in thousands.
Okay, if I'm not much of a blank to you, then why are you here now?
For the record, your file has got to be closed out. And any information on your specific act might help us to program our studies more efficiently in the future. See, we've got it all down here. All the help that we've given you. Will you show this to your father, please?
Oh, I remember the help. You advised me to talk to my professors.
That sounds reasonable enough to me.
Talk to them? Have you ever talked to a face on a television screen or to a man you see sitting 200 heads in front of you?
Then you should have talked to the teaching assistant.
I did.
And?
I went into the office and he didn't even look up at me. He looked at my grades and that card he keeps and he said, kid, you're not booking it enough. And then he gave me a note and sent me to the study lab. And then they put me in this box, you see, and they said, use the tape machine. Have you ever begged a tape machine for help?
Thousands of men go through this university every year. And fortunately, only a very small percentile seem to encounter difficulties as bad as yours. The rest seem to acknowledge that there are standards to be met, and they adjust.
Oh, sure they adjust, because it's easier. But what about that small percentile like me who wants something more than adjusting?
Oh, that sounds very familiar, unfortunately. And you don't need to finish it, because I've heard it all before. The inhumanity of the system. Well, with those sentiments, I am surprised that you spent as much time as you did in the classroom. You should have been out harassing the administration, burning the buildings, waving obscene placards.
Well, maybe I should have been. But it's hard to wave a placard when you're running on a treadmill.
If you were on a treadmill, no one put you there but yourself. We were realistic enough to know about the problems you'd have to face, and we spent all of your life preparing you for them.
You did from the day I was born.
Oh, I'm glad to hear you sound so grateful. Ben, the one thing I tried to get into that stubborn head of yours is that you can't exist in this world without an education.
I never questioned that. But is what I went through for 2 years in education?
State college was your choice.
It would have been the same any place, Dad. I wanted to find myself, not to lose myself.
Oh, if your mother weren't here, I'd give you a one-word answer for that.
I bet you would. Look, I am not going to try to convince you how important this was to me because you would never understand. And you wouldn't care. You'd never even care. All you ever cared about was what you expected me to be.
That isn't fair.
Ben, did you ever want to do anything? Anything at all? No! The truth is, you wouldn't have done a thing if we hadn't been on your back ever since you were that high. College was the one place where we couldn't do your work for you. You were on your own and you couldn't make it. You failed. There's only one chance you have left, Ben. 3 months from now, you'll be wallowing around in the mud up to your eyeballs in some jungle. Then you'll realize your mistake and you'll write home saying to us that... Ben, is that why you did it? You knew what failing in school meant? And you were afraid? For the love of God, Dad!
Is that all you've learned about me in 20 years? Sure, I was afraid. But I could have survived, you know? I mean, I could have survived anything. Is that all there is to life, just surviving? Something was missing. It's always been missing. What was it? That emptiness, that waste. You know, there was never any purpose, not to anything I ever did.
No, Ben. We were only trying to help you get ahead, to make something of yourself.
I did, Mom. I made something of myself. 1,000 flowers. One minute the lawn was green under the tower, and the next minute it blossomed with 1,000 red flowers. And every flower was a part of Ben Ferris.
Why are they doing that?
Time, Mrs. Ferris. Time.
Emma?
I have a glass.
Well, we haven't found the answer yet.
No. No, and we won't. Because I don't think you could care less about finding it.
Emma, I have to. Tell her.
A few minutes ago, you said you wanted to do all the talking.
I tried, but it didn't work. I need you now. You've always helped me before. Help me.
Help you, Ben? Oh, Ben, he's done nothing but hurt you. You made a big mistake. He's the one who should have gone out that window, not you.
You're inhuman.
I wish I were. Certainly make life easier.
You said you were going to go. Now, will you please? I want to be alone with my son.
Grace, what good would it do? You heard them. They're putting all the blame on us.
Oh, and what did you expect? Do you think that Ben would have needed our friend here if he'd had the courage to face himself realistically? Oh. I'm sorry I can't oblige you, Ben. But I spent the last year trying to work through my own guilt. I just can't take on yours. Maybe all of us were sitting on that windowsill with you. But you're the one who jumped.
I'm afraid she's right.
Now, wait. There is an item in this testimony, if you can call it a testimony, that should be pursued. Now, Ben, you have several times mentioned an emptiness. Now, if we can clarify that, I
What's
think
there
we'll
to
be on the way.
clarify? It's very obvious. Dad's life is empty. So is Mom's. And so is Emma's.
Guilty, I confess. But I intend to live a long, long time. Because mine's a nice, healthy emptiness. Because before I came here to school, I did a little house cleaning. I went around and I and I swept out all the dust that had been crammed into me since I was born. Now I'm finding out what's worthwhile, at least to me. And I'm going to fill that emptiness. Goodbye, Ben.
Ben, if that's your opinion of your mother and me, there's nothing we can do but pray that you find some kind of peace. Bye, Ben. Let's go home, Grace.
I can't leave him.
Well, it seems to me that there is no choice in the matter, but I wish that
I want you to go. I want all of you to go.
Ben.
The file has got to be closed out.
All right. Just so your files won't be ruined, Ben Ferris never existed.
He did exist. He was my life.
Grace, there's nothing we can do now. Please.
We came here to ask something. What was it?
It's over. You can go now.
No. You created me. You have to destroy me.
How?
I don't know. Maybe if you stopped needing me.
Why should I need you now?
Ben, I have the feeling we're going to be here just like this until we answer for ourselves the question we couldn't answer for them. Why?
There is no answer.
There has to be, Ben. Ben, all that talk about emptiness was just an excuse. You've made yourself empty, Ben. You don't have to be. All along, there's been something you've been shutting out. If you'd let that something in, you could have found yourself. You could have faced anything. Ben, it's there. It's always been there. Why did you deny it, Ben? Ben, I can't say it for you. I can only reflect what you want. You've got to make the admission, Ben.
What good would it do now?
Say it.
No.
Say it, Ben. Free me. Free yourself. Say it.
God? God. God.
Insight is a production of the Paulist Fathers, a group of Catholic priests who serve their God by serving those outside their church.